from feeling defeated and tired to having the ability to completely turn things around and change your life. The energy of July is very positive, challenging at the same time, not necessarily in a bad way. Um, it challenges us to find in ourselves the inner strength, the wisdom, the diligence, the truths, the healing that is needed to completely transform and change the future and make our dreams come true. Welcome to July's reading, wise people. Let's have a look and see what the astrology is about first. Then, as you can see, I have pulled some cards, and obviously, as always, I prayed and got some messages for you as well. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It's free. Comment and interact with the channel. It helps my channel, and I'm grateful for that. It also helps me pick up on your energy, so it helps you ultimately and helps other people hear these messages too. Press the notification bell button to be notified when I next upload, and let's get into it. So 3rd and 4th of July, Venus conjunct Uranus in Taurus at an aretic degree. This can bring closure in relationships somehow. Either some relationship will end or will upgrade. You will finally realize in what way relationship has impacted you, whether it took too much from you mentally, emotionally, or materially, whether you had to change who you truly are in order to keep it going. You might now feel ready to end it or move on, or to take it up a notch and move forward if you haven't done enough yet for this relationship to reach its full potential. It can be about your relationship with yourself as well, your relationship with money, not necessarily only another person. Everything will be put to test with the square between Venus and Mars from mid-month until 4th of August. So as I said, challenging and testing energy, but ultimately for our highest good. Today, on the 4th, when I'm recording this, Venus enters Gemini. And the way we find pleasure in life changes from the Taurian style indulgence to more curious, adventurous attitude, exploring and making connections. On the 5th, Neptune goes retrograde in Aries. As I said before, Neptune is about the depth of our emotions and subconscious mind, about our unconscious mind as well, about spirituality and mysticism. It can make us confused, daydream, overly emotionally, and even delusional. But understanding its energy and raising our frequency, it can also make us more compassionate and empathetic, hopeful, and able to hold that vision about our deepest desire, hidden dreams. And as it just entered Aries, it will make it all more personal. Luckily, Saturn, although difficult, stern, and demanding, entered Aries too, and will help us create the strategy, the order, the consistency that are necessary to make our dreams come true. With Neptune retrograde from the 5th of July for 5 months, interesting, 5 here, change, 5 represents change. It will be an opportunity to rethink, reevaluate, and change and challenge, to reassess, recognize the illusions, see deceptions, and uncover the lies, an innermost review and realignment of our personal journey and spiritual beliefs. On the 7th, Uranus enters Gemini, bringing unexpected people, situations, important breakthroughs, shifting perceptions, innovative views and ideas. Depending on your rising sign, that's the area where the surprising changes happen. Evolution, revolution, transformation are all keywords for this powerful planetary shift that has last happened between May 1942 to June 1948, with a break between August to November 1948. As we've learned from history, the world wasn't going through pretty times. It doesn't necessarily mean history has to repeat itself either, though, if we've learned the lessons. Something to be mindful of with this transit is the fact that Uranus disrupts but doesn't necessarily make things better. And in combination with Mercury, its lower octave planet, which is also associated with the trickster, manipulator, and lo and behold, we have the magician here. Not necessarily that it's in its lower frequency, but just another confirmation of how everything is interconnected and how the energy works. So in combination with Mercury, which can be associated with the trickster and the manipulator, Uranus can very much expect us. It will be down to our wisdom and our diligence to make the right choices and avoid conflicts this time around. So if you're wondering about the future of the world in terms of safety and peace, it will be very much down to the decisions made on the go in the next few months. So it will be a case of making wise decisions, and as we go along and things keep happening, because with Uranus, the planet of unexpected and constant change and surprises, will have to be on the ball practically. Nothing is set in stone, but equally the energy is always changing and shifting, which is good, and our collective prayers and vision of peace can be more powerful and prevail over the power struggles, financial interests, and volatile low frequency ego battles. On the 10th, we have full moon in Capricorn, which will illuminate what has been built on a strong, solid foundation and what wasn't true and reliable. Karma will do its thing, bringing balance and push for order. There may be a rude awakening for some, as well as an opportunity to realize one's worth and step into their full power. You might finally see where you exerted resistance, what you ought to surrender, and to release what you haven't understood and trust the divine with. On the 13th, Saturn goes retrograde in Aries. As we know, Saturn likes order and things done the right way, is the taskmaster, is that strict teacher. Aries is about the self and one's identity. This retrograde brings an opportunity to pause and reflect, reassess, re-strategize, all the re-word, our health, our approach to life, how we view and treat ourselves, our ego, healing, shadow integration, and integrity are all aspects that need our attention. This energy goes hand in hand with the previous one of the full moon in Capricorn that I just mentioned, and supports our Neptune retrograde discovery and recovery that I also just mentioned. On the 15th till August the 4th, Venus squares Mars, and they will cause a heightened emotions, experience passion, and they will bring that square will bring tension in relationships and will affect creativity and money situations too. On the 18th, Mercury goes retrograde in Leo till August 11th, with pre-shadow period ending on around 25th, 28th. Mercury retrograde is actually a time of pause and reflection, and if we do just that, we dreaded it less. In Leo, Mercury retrograde will have us look at whether we've thrown stones from glass windows, houses, and what and whom have we spoken wrong about, out of turn, from a defensive, fearful stance, or from our ego. Leo placements and fixed signs will be most affected, of course, but everyone will feel it too in the area of Leo house on their birth chart. Speak with compassion, be patient and tolerant, wait before making important decisions, listen to what silence tells you, read carefully before signing any documents, think twice before taking back exes, be truthful and less prideful. On the 22nd, the sun enters Leo, so welcome to the Leo season. Hope you get some time for yourself. On the 24th, we have new moon in Leo, a royal in the making, and that can be very much you. Being a leader isn't about being born noble, it can be also about being just being born, and then you can reborn yourself into whatever leadership qualities you decide to develop and embrace as you heal yourself and rediscover your true essence. Courage, loyalty, inner beauty, leading by example are all choices everyone can make, and we can become who we believe, envisage, and feel we can be. Speaking of healing, on the 31st, Chiron goes retrograde in Aries. So that will be, again, a time of reevaluating where we are with our healing process. Happy birthday to all Cancerians and Leos. Remember, we cannot be free from oppression, judgment, restrictions, wars until we liberate ourselves from the pain of the past, self-judgment and distrust, the imposter syndrome, the lack of confidence, the horrible stories we keep telling ourselves about ourselves. So may you heal your wounds and soothe your pain, reemerge as new but essentially true you, a lion king-like leader, confident and powerful version of yourself, Christ-like, compassionate energy, peacemaker, and harmony-loving, happy and joyful human being. And remember, if you want peace in the world, stay the course, vibe high, envisage the peace. Now, looking at and I hope I won't forget to tell you about my visions. Looking at the tarot, and I'm only pulling cards practically to help you guys get a better understanding of what's happening, because personally I got to the conclusion that no matter what tool of divination I use, ultimately it's my faith, my connection to God, and my prayers that help me through anything and everything in life. However, perhaps some of you are still working on your connection to God. For me, it was easier because I was raised that way by my gran. He was very much very connected to the divine, also a natural psychic. So this comes also naturally, and it's hereditary for me as well, the psychic gift I'm talking about, but also the faith and the connection to God has been instilled in me as a child. So obviously it will be easier for me, but I want to speak to you more about it and to explain more about it, because obviously in my more mature age, I did come to the conclusion that ultimately it is all down to our faith in God, our the way we hold hope and we trust God with our prayers, and anything else will just sort of guide us through things to make life easier. So I still agree with everything in that sense. It makes life easier to navigate, but it won't make outcome change, if you like. None of this will change the outcome. Only your belief, your trust in God, your prayers, only that will change the outcome practically. However, until then, and until you ask for more about that, let's have a look and see what the tarot says. We have the Five of Swords clarified by the Magician. We have the Moon clarified by the Ace of Swords, and we have the King of Wands clarified by the Wheel of Fortune, with the Hierophant, the interesting, there you go, Six of Swords, Two of Cups, Ten of Cups, and the Hierophant at the bottom of the deck. So practically, how obviously the Hierophant is about faith, exactly what I was saying, and you know, all these leaving troubles behind, having a happy relationship and committed relationship seems to confirm, as always. Any tool that we use, at least for me, has confirmed the same conclusion. So again, we are being told again that if we want a certain outcome, we have to believe and we have to trust our prayers. We have to connect to our higher self. We have to understand what our soul wants practically from this lifetime. And when we pray, we also have to believe that what we pray for is going to be given to us. However, until then, with this Five of Swords here, some of you may feel tired, be defeated, which we all do, don't get me wrong. We are still human beings having this human experience, and life is a blessing, is a beautiful gift, but it's not always easy, as we know. So it's just so very normal to feel tired and fed up at times. But the Five of Swords can also speak about strategy, about, and I have mentioned in the astrology of July about retrogrades, a lot of retrogrades. Saturn goes retrograde, Neptune goes retrograde, Mercury goes retrograde. I think Pluto is retrograde in Aquarius as well. So a lot of retrogrades. We should have about 5 retrograde planets, about 5 planets in retrograde. 5 again about difficulty, strife, change as well, challenges mainly. And yeah, so we are going through some challenging times. However, equally, it is for our highest good and it is for our growth. It's a transformative process that we are going through. And with the Magician here, which is ruled by Mercury, which I have mentioned is going to go retrograde and is in tandem with Uranus, which is its higher octave. We have the tools, and if we haven't or feel like we haven't yet, we will, because Uranus moves into Gemini, so there will be breakthroughs and epiphanies coming, a new way of thinking. So things are transforming and the way we see things is going to change. So we have, or we will have, what it takes to change and to transform our life and our future. The problem would be, as always, the unconscious and our emotions, because the moon is about unconscious and emotions, and the unconscious runs the show. Science is not me who says it, it's not spiritual talk, it's science. If you're more of a skeptic, although probably not that much since you're here, but science says that the unconscious runs our life to, I think it's 95%. So that's what needs to be uncovered and dealt with. And if you need help with that, this is actually my speciality, deep dive into the unconscious and the subconscious, uncovering what is the needs healing, so we can see clearly and truthfully and reshape and transform our life. With the Ace of Swords, at least the moon, so our unconscious and our emotions are being clarified by the Ace of Swords, which is all about truth. So, and I said there will be a full moon in Capricorn, so things will be illuminated and revealed, the truth will come out. And whatever way, sometimes might not be a nice way because it's a double-edged sword, so the truth can hurt at times, but will set us free. So there is this opportunity to heal our past wounds and pain and see clearly into the future what we need to change. The future, when I talk about seeing into the future, is not so much about the psychic ability and drawing insights from the occult and esoteric, as it is about our ability of um, of understanding that we have the power to change our future. And that's why I'm saying that I got to the conclusion late in life, well, not too late, but in my mature years, as I said, that no matter what we find out through any other means, ultimately it takes us to the Word of God. And I believe that the Bible and God, through its prophets and prophetesses, I think is the correct word, was condemning the occult and seeking information, not because is necessarily a bad thing in itself. I'm trying to word this in the right way. I believe God didn't mind us finding out as much as possible, but wanted us to trust Him and to remember that we have been created in its image, which means not just visually clearly, but obviously we have that godlike power within ourselves. And if we stay strongly connected to God, that's where we draw the power to change whatever we need to change. Whereas if we see things through other means, doesn't mean, first and foremost, there is no guarantee that the person that gives us the insight, it really sees things in the right way. Because there is so much room for interpretation, just like with the law, as you probably know. With me being a lawyer by formation, I know exactly that there is a lot of room for interpretation when it comes to the law. So it's the same with this. There is a lot of room for interpretation, and perhaps the person that we seek help from might not always think and see all the details, and then we get the wrong idea, and that leads us onto the wrong path. Obviously, there is the lower vibration side of it, and of the people whom do not draw information, insight from the divine, but from a lower vibration realm and entities, and have evil intentions and all that stuff that I don't even want to get into. And obviously it is very much down to the intention, because God wouldn't necessarily mind if people have good intentions when they use these tools, and if they stay connected to the divine. But there is the risk of, as I said, low vibe people, low vibe intention, and evil spirits and entities. So it really takes a lot of hard work, inner work, and very, very strong connection to the divine. But again, I am not judging, I'm not condemning. That's why I'm doing it, and I will keep doing it until I feel called otherwise. I am quite there, but not there yet, because I feel that my collective still needs this stage and these steps. So we shall carry on with them until the time is right. We do have, however, message from the divine. We have here, pray always, Luke 21:36. So no matter what, keep praying, but also keep believing, because there you go, ask and it shall be given to you. Matthew 7:7, the divine number, twice here. And also exactly what I was saying, it is very much about the intention, and it's not just the intention with which you go to find out things. Is not about the intention of the person who gives you the information and the insight. It is also about your intention when you pray, to pray for the highest good of all, not for selfish situations where, don't get me wrong, you should pray for, you should and can pray for yourself individually and in a way selfish if you like, but not selfish in the sense of harming others and causing problems for others. And then we have the King of Wands, a lot of fire energy, as obviously we are heading into the sign of Leo, the season, the Leo season. It makes a lot of sense again. But it's not just that, it's also about you coming into power. And remember, I was saying about that with the new moon in Leo, having that opportunity to heal and to reborn yourself practically and be this leader person and lead by example. And with the Wheel of Fortune clarifying it, it shows that when you come into your own power, into your godlike qualities, you can turn things around and change your future. And with the Magician, you have the wisdom and everything that is necessary to overcome the confusion, the illusion, the delusion, anything and everything, your intense emotions, and getting out of your feels and getting into the truth. So no matter how you want to take it and how you look at it, we have every element here: air, water, fire, earth. So exactly what the Magician has here, all the elements, all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the beauty, continues in infinite access to the universal knowledge and the collective consciousness. So that is all available to you, whichever way you would like to access it, as long as, whether it's through your higher self, through a spiritual teacher, through a strengthening your faith to the divine, you name it, it's there and it's available to you. You just have to use it, obviously, for the highest of good of all. When it comes to relationships, because obviously I couldn't, I'm not very much about love when it comes to my readings, energy readings or astrology overviews, but I know how much relationships can make or break our life and how much it can affect us, and not us as adults so much, because to be fair, I am more concerned about the children than the adults. But yeah, I have looked and asked and prayed for insights about love for you as well, for us all actually. And what I got were two visions. I got, let me find it here, a safety pin and gladioli. So obviously it can resonate in different ways with each of you. Do let me know though, please, how it resonates. But with the safety pin, I will give you, I will give you my takes on everything, and you take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't for other people, because it will resonate with somebody else. Safety pin can mean that some of you are feeling stuck, whether mentally, practically, or both, or any other way. Some may already be in a relationship but don't want to be in it anymore and only stay because it gives you a false sense of safety. Then there are others who may feel like you have already met your significant other and it's just a matter of time before coming together in unity. So just a matter of like external factors, practicality and logistics. Then some may be single, but know that you have a partner that you haven't met in person yet, but can sense them energetically. And last but not least, There are those who are single because it feels safer that way. You're strong, you're highly independent, you enjoy your own company, and having the belief that and have the belief that is that no relationship is better than a bad relationship, which it's 100% true. However, you have to make sure that you don't feel and think that way due to unhealed past trauma. And I put my hand up here because that very much is me. Spiritually, gladioli is, but I'm healing, so don't get me wrong. You know, those who know me know that I'm very much into healing, about healing, and on my healing journey and nearing the completion of my healing journey in terms of healing the past, because as I always say to everyone, life can traumatize us on a daily basis, and we need to heal daily, constantly, continuously. Healing doesn't have to be an elaborate process. If we heal each day, whatever experience may occur that is traumatizing, because we heal it as we go along, we heal it on the go, so it's not gonna stuck. It's not gonna get stuck in our system, and it's just a matter of processing it quickly, clearing the energy, our energy field, after a day of interacting with people and having all sorts of thoughts, and doing some tapping to release those emotions, taking some baths. So whatever works for you, do it. But if you do it on a daily basis, then it's going to be like you brush your teeth or take a shower. That's no biggie, really, is it? So yeah. Then gladioli, spiritually, is associated with the higher self, purity of the heart and soul. If you look at the Ace of Swords, very much similar to the gladioli. And look, these leaves here are like, can be again very much like the gladioli flowers falling, where the truth becomes naked and is being shown to us. It's also about being upright and about purity of heart and soul. It can also be about chakras. And if you look at these leaves, also the gladioli has flowers on the stem, as you know, and those can be also associated with chakras. And I was just mentioning clearing our energetic field on a daily basis and balancing, unblocking and balancing our chakras, our energy centers. Gladioli is also a sign of strength, truth. There you go. Ace of Swords. Standing tall, firm in your beliefs, being upright and overcoming obstacles, which brings us to the love, romance, angels, and oracles cards that I pulled here. And we have, pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. Passion, allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Past life relationship, you have known each other before. And then we have true love at the bottom of the deck. This is the romance of a lifetime, and is aligning with the Hierophant. So again, anything can be achieved if you heal and if you pray and believe. Pay attention to the red flags. Obviously, I mean, they all speak for themselves anyway. You don't necessarily need me to read it out or add to it. But I found that talking about things a bit more and developing on a subject and repeating some things helps sometimes, because sometimes we just need something to be repeated until we actually pay attention, or to catch us at that moment when it makes sense, when we are prepared to hear it as well, because as they say, the eyes cannot see what the mind is not prepared to comprehend. So and with the Ace of Swords here, with the moon and the gladioli vision all together, if we look at this card about red flags, it will say that we have to realize that our emotions can sometimes blind us. Our unconscious and subconscious sometimes can blind us. It could also be that somebody can hide something from you and is going to be revealed. And when that happens, you have to pay attention to the red flags. There is that saying again, when people show you their true colors, or no, when people show you who they are, believe them. So do not try to paint it. Take it as it is. And do not oversee the red flags. Yes, there may be passion, and for sure there is with this King of Swords here, a lot of passion, and with Leo energy being so strongly. But remember, we also have a square between Venus and Mars, I think it is, if I remember well, and also Venus in Taurus. Let me see. Venus conjunct Taurus shows us things about truths about relationships. And then there was, yes, a square, where was it? I can't see it now, but we also have a square with Mars. Yes, Venus square Mars on mid-month on the 15th, and it will last until 4th of August. Which will be about heightened emotions, passion, bringing tension in relationships. So, yes, there is passion, but if it's not channeled, if it's not used wisely, it can create tension and conflict. So, and we also have past life relationships. You have known each other before. That can create even more intense passion and can make that connection feel even more intense. And if both partners are unhealed, because usually that is the case, even though one may be more advanced on their healing journey, they are not healed properly, or they haven't, and as in like they haven't healed some aspects, and those aspects can very much be shown into our partner, because that's what happens. We attract somebody who will show us what we need to heal in ourselves. They will be our mirror. So usually it is the case of both partners being unhealed, having some wounds, not completely, but some wounds being still in need of being healed. So that can create confusion, illusion, delusion. So you got to pay attention to that as well. And also with Neptune entering Aries, that created a lot of confusion. Luckily now it's going retrograde. So when that happens, and when the veil is being lifted with Neptune going retrograde in Aries, and with the full moon in Capricorn, and the truth being revealed, do pay attention to the red flags. Do not let the passion blind you, and the fact that is perhaps a past life relationship, which is making the passion more intense and the connection stronger, because the purpose of past life connections is relationships is to reconnect again and heal the past. But not everyone is ready yet to heal the past, and you don't have to complete that healing as a connection in this lifetime. It would be ideal, but first you would have to heal individually, and then you can heal the connection as well in this lifetime. But sometimes it's not necessarily possible. So you may have married somebody whom you've met in a past life, and you promise to meet again and try to heal, but none of you is able to heal completely, or one of you is not able to heal completely. And if you don't, that relationship will not come to a positive resolution. And positive resolution doesn't necessarily mean staying together and taking it to the next level or making it better. It could be making it better by concluding it, healing it, and ending that connection. We met again, we healed, we learned the lessons we had to learn. We can part now as friends, as soulmates, as soul family, but we don't have to be partners. Perhaps we have a next level to evolve to, each of us separately, because soulmates are not necessarily our partner. Our children, our parents, our friends, and soul family members can be soulmates as well. However, true love, this is the romance of a lifetime. You can be with your soul, with your twin flame, or the person that you are supposed to be with in this lifetime. But in order for you to be together and make it a success and a happy relationship, you have to both heal and pray and believe that is possible. Because if one of you is off, obviously it's like a motorcycle, it needs two wheels to work properly and to take in safely in the right direction. So I hope this helps and clarifies some things. Obviously it will be different if we look at things individually. If we look on a personal level, clearly reach out if you want a personal reading. You have all the details in the description box. And until next time, be loved and be happy.